All right, all right. Enough of those tunes. All right. Today, the internet mistake that breaks live events. That's what we're talking today. The internet mistake that breaks live events. It happens all the time. You know, when you're producing a live event, Wi-Fi isn't the internet. It's just distribution. It's the access layer. The real risk lives in the connection behind it. You know, and that's the part most planners don't think about until something stalls. You know, today I want to break down something very simple but very important. The difference between best effort internet like coax, shared fiber, or 5G fixed wireless, and dedicated fixed wireless fiber. Because that distinction becomes critical the moment density spikes. Let's start with the reality of live events. All right. You're not just giving people Wi-Fi so they can scroll. Your network is powering point of sale systems, ticket scanning, live stream feeds maybe, or sponsor activations, social walls, real-time cloud collaboration, and now even more importantly, AI-based applications. Your infrastructure is part of the experience. You know, remember that your infrastructure is part of the experience. And when you have 100, 200, 1,000 people connect at the same time on the network, you know, these networks behave very differently than it does during setup, right? You know, it's just, it always does. You know, people come in, they do a physical site survey, they test out the Wi-Fi. Oh, look, I'm getting all these great speed. Oh, who needs a good internet connection? Oh, yeah, right. Now, let's talk about shared best effort internet, coax cable, shared fiber, 5G fixed wireless. All of those models have one thing in common. They are shared. They are shared. That means your event traffic is competing with other users somewhere upstream. It might be neighbors on a node. It might be aggregated provider capacity, max capacity, you know. It might be cellular spectrum shared with thousands of phones in the same area. In normal conditions, you know, that perform fine. But when you have live events and you have density, you have a lot of people, you know, those are not normal conditions. They are peak conditions. You know, simultaneous uploads, simultaneous logins, simultaneous transactions, and shared systems. Shared systems compress under peak load. Shared compress, it's a nice word. They crash and burn. You know, it's not criticism. It's just the way the networks were made. That's physics. You know, now we want to compare that to dedicated fixed wireless fiber. Dedicated fixed wireless fiber means your bandwidth is reserved. Your throughput is symmetrical. That means your upload speed and download speed are the same. Your capacity is not competing with the public. It's engineered. It has a service level agreement. It's predictable. You know, when density spikes, dedicated infrastructure doesn't tighten. It holds. It holds. And there's, you know, time and time again, you know, folks think, you know, oh, this costs, you know, so much less. We're just going to go with that method. You know the old saying, you get what you pay for. Here's where it becomes very real. You know, imagine you have like you're doing a big show. It's halftime or there's an intermission. You know, the crowd pulls out their phones and they're on their phones, right? Or your point of sale systems are cloud-based. Transactions start spinning. Approvals slow down. Lines grow. Approvals are non-existent for credit card transactions. Vendors stop serving. They can't process a transaction. They can't sell food. They can't sell food and beverage. You know, and suddenly the issue isn't Wi-Fi, it's revenue, it's reputation, it's sponsor visibility. No one blames the internet service provider. They blame the event. You know, shared infrastructure means shared risk. Dedicated infrastructure means controlled performance. When the crowd shows up, and the crowd always shows up for events, right? Shared infrastructure strains. Dedicated infrastructure holds. That's it. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. It holds. This episode is for event producers, experiential agencies. You know who you all are. Corporate planners who understand that connectivity isn't a utility, it's infrastructure. And infrastructure should be invisible, not unforgettable. So, if you're planning something, you're planning an event, and you want to pressure test your connectivity plan before people arrive, before you get into a pickle, I'm happy to walk through it with you. Because the internet mistake that breaks live events is rarely visible in advance. It only shows up when it really matters most. And everyone knows exactly what I'm saying when I say that. It only shows up when it really matters most. Shoot me an email, I'll help if I can, ben@naturalwireless.com, or text me 212-540-5477. All right. Thank you all for your time. I hope this was helpful.